Okay, so welcome to Ruby Tuesday JavaScript Penang number 21, brought to you by the Penang Tech, KL Ruby Brigade, and also the JavaScript Malaysia. This is. Let me get it back. So Wi-Fi is online, so find your own Wi-Fi. Introduce yourself. So I'm Gui. I'm the co-organizer for Ruby and JavaScript Penang. And here we have ChanKit and Looi on the call. So our talk for today is freelancing as first job. So let Looi. Yep,
Sorry, I can hear you.
Yep.
Yep.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Looi. I'm working as a freelancing about 3 years, I think. I starting my freelancing job. My first freelancing job is at my college before intern. Yeah.
ChanKit, brief introduction.
Hi, I'm ChanKit. I'm presently working as a graphic software engineer in Intel. So it's kind of like opposite of freelancing, but I did work as a freelancer occasionally. I did mostly on the web development, Android development, some casual stuff, but I'm not taking it as my main job. Not like Louis, who is more experienced in freelancing. Maybe I can just offer my approach as like how it feels to freelance versus working in a like MNC or something like that. But there's no like good or bad, just like contrast. Back to you, Gui.
Okay, so I'm Gui. I'm currently a software developer contract for a US-based company, and also doing part-time freelancing also. I'm also part of the Facebook developer circles in Penang. So let's get started with the topic. So starting from Louis, why freelancing?
Actually, that is an opportunity for me to make my first freelancing job. Because kind of a startup. Maybe you know, if you come from Penang, you know the startup name is called Goodies 25. This is my first freelancing job. I helping him doing a job posting system, but at the end the job posting is not working. Then they are moved to the advertisement on the blog. So it's like before intern, I'm opportunity ask they come in my college and ask for a student to work at a freelancer for a project. Then my friends recommend me to go, and then I accept the offer. Then I start working at a freelancing, and I feel I am pretty enjoy to working as a freelancer because you're quite free and you just need a computer. You don't need to work by 9 to 5. You don't need to waste time at the traffic. After that, then I decide after my intern, because after my first freelancer job, then I go my intern, and my intern is at the Penang Island, and then I stand in the Penang mainland. Then I need to travel between the bridge. So I think the traffic is quite nightmare for me. I need to wake up early and then start at the traffic and go to the place to work. So compared to my first freelancing, I decided to go freelancing. This is why I enjoy the freelancing. Yeah.
Okay. So for ChanKit, you do freelancing occasionally, like sometimes, right? So why freelancing?
Freelancing gave me like flexibility that like Louis enjoys. I only enjoy work from home flexibility recently, not like few years ago. But I do get like the good things that freelancing offers. Like you can work from anywhere. Like anytime. Perhaps, and sometimes the if your contracts, if you get good contracts, you do get paid a lot sometimes. You know, you do get more motivation, and you do work with customers directly. Like for example, in Intel, right, we don't really work with customer directly because, you know, I'm not a very, like, you know, I don't work at a high places in Intel. I'm just a, you know, like, software developer. So like more often than not, you know, like, we just work amongst ourselves. You know, we don't really deal with customers. So like freelancing, you know, gives us the opportunity. You know, like it complements my experience. I would say, like, you know, like sometimes I do, you know, I do prefer, you know, the way Intel does things. Sometimes I do prefer freelancing way. You know, like it's like back and forth. So but it's okay, like it's good to experience both. Like you don't need to choose only one. Like yeah, back to you guys.
Okay, cool. So for my experience of freelancing is that it's allowed me to practice the skills that I wanted to learn stuff, to practice that the software skills that I know, so that because during my day job it might not be using all my skill set, right, in terms of programming language. So for freelancing, it allows me to practice that and also to acquire new skills and also do experimental new stuff, right? Experience because it's practical. When you do it, you actually deploy to a real customer. It's not like hobby project, it's actually a real customer, and you solving a real problem in the world. So that's important for me as a learning tools, as a learning experience, right? So next question is starting from Louis. What you think that is important for a freelancer developer? What requirements or anything important to be a freelancing?
First, you need to have a comfortable skill set, at least one language to survive. And then, and the second thing I think important is the networking. So freelancing is compared to the full-time work is like not so flexible. I can say it because in the early of my freelancing career, I do all my freelancing offer is coming from my friend, my teacher, my cousin, my brother, something like that. So I think networking is one of the important, and then and also the skill set. At least you have a one comfortable skill set to solve the problem. No matter it's like PHP, JavaScript, no matter what, just need to solve the problem. One skill set. For me, I think like this.
Okay, skill sets. ChanKit, anything that you think is important to be freelance? So as freelancer.
I think the most important thing is always, you know, like you want to be aligned to your customer needs, because you know, more often than not, I'm not sure about you guys, I always get, you know, like just say customers say, oh, this is, you know, let's say they want A, actually they want B, but only after we are close to, you know, like implementing A, then suddenly say, no, actually you know what, like I want B. So like, you know, like so we always need to adapt to, you know, like customers needs. And the thing is, like, you know, like, and if customer is pushing you, right, then you have to implement it no matter what. So you know, like like the point is, like, we freelancer will want to like adapt like quickly to customers needs, and you know, to be able to, you know, close it, and you know, as soon as possible, because like that's when you get your payment and stuff, right? So like, but of course the point is also you want to, you know, like close the project, right? Not in terms of like getting the payment, but also like as a, you know, as an accomplishment, right? So like, you know, once you close a project, you know, that project is considered at least like past the stage. So like, you know, it's an accomplishment in its, you know, own way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
We
not
have
sure
one
if I answered your question.
from
Yeah.
the audience. So must a freelancer need to register with government agency before you develop a system for a customer? What do you think about that, Louis?
Depend on the project. If you want to serve the government customer, then you need to register at a MFC, I think, a license to apply the government project. For normal customer, it's not You just need a not even need a company. You just need a freelancing a bank account. You can start your freelancing career.
How about ChanKit? Any comments?
Yeah, all I need is a laptop and a bank account to get my. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think. But the point of freelancing is also like it also depends if you hire any other people, right? For example, like if someone wants like freelancing is so good that like he or she needs to sub out the work, or like you need to employ more people. That's when like maybe it's more proper to make an agency or make it more formal, I would say, like compared to like being a silo and code from a coffee shop. Sometimes if someone wants to expand his or her own business, you might want to be more formal and at least get a company registered, or at least get SDN Berhad, things like that. But for freelancing, I don't think it's not required. Yeah, to a short answer would be no. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So for regulation purposes and tax purposes, you can register an entity in SSM, an enterprise. It will cost you around like 70 ringgit per year. And then you can hire a accountant to manage your tax or accounts, probably a few hundred. Or you can do it by yourself because enterprise doesn't require an auditor. Not like LLP, there's a limited liability partnership and also a Sendirian Berhad. So for a small scale, I will advise to spend like 70 ringgit to create a enterprise so that you have a legal entity. And if you worry about liabilities or customer pursuing you for anything, you can buy insurance. There is insurance to cover you in any mishap or anything happen. There is an insurance for that. So if freelancing work is less than maybe like 36K per year, I think you don't have to pay tax because you are below the tax bracket, right? So then you don't have to declare. If your yearly income exceed that, you better declare that as a own entity as a sole proprietary or partnership as enterprise. So that will be better in terms of tax management, right? So we can continue just now what I think is important for freelancer. I think time management. So time management, like if you know how much time you have currently and then how much work you can do, estimate your capacity. Because when you acquire tasks from clients, right, you need to know how much work you can take in, how much they ask you what you can deliver, split up jobs. So it's better to have a skill like just now Louis said, a skill that you're comfortable with, so that you are easily to estimate your time. If you pick up a skill that you don't familiar, it's very hard for you to estimate the time for task completion, and it will mess up your arrangement also. So stick to the skill set that you have and go from there. If you want to acquire new skill, be prepared to put some buffer because you will still need to learn. So put extra time for that. Don't restrict your time so that you can deliver at least earlier or on time. Delaying job is not ideal. It happens, but it's not ideal, right? So managing time is very important from what I think as a freelancer.
But
So
for this question, I can expand some more. Like for freelancing, also one of the very important thing is like discipline, because you work at home and you need to have a maintain productive. Then you need to every day call like a normal working hour, like every day spend about 7 hours to work, and also you need to discipline to manage your financial. Because freelancing, the income is not stable. If you want to be a full-time freelancer, then you must have a emergency fund for you to to prevent if there are no more freelancing jobs come from you. Yeah.
Yep. That one is managing finances, right? So next question will be, what are the cons of freelancing? So what is the bad things about like freelancer, being a freelancer? What's the cons?
The only thing I think is like not stable at the early step. Before your networking is expand, they are very not stable for you. A lot of my friends who working as a freelancer, like they are die at the early step because unstable and prefer to go stable to work at a full time at a certain company. So at the end, we will need to talk about the discipline you manage, how you find the customer, how you spend the time, you manage the time to find a new customer, something like that. The no stable income is the only bad thing I think for freelancing.
So next will be ChanKit. What do you think about the cons of freelancing?
Okay, so let me contrast because I also work full time, so like one of the very difference, like usually, right, if you work especially in MNCs, right, if anything happens, like you won't be the first one to, let's say, kena the fire. Like usually, like you be spread. Let's say like your manager will get some of it, and then like your managers will get some of it. So like in a way, it's spread out. Like there'll be like someone defending you. And another thing is also, right, so even if you mess up, right, you will still get paid for at least like for the next 2 to 3 months, right? I mean, like even if you mess up that badly, right? But in freelancing, like you will get the brunt straight away. Like there's no, you don't have a manager, like you don't have a teammate. You cannot tai chi the problem to anyone, because like if you are silo, then like no one to tai chi. I'm dead, right? It's like no manager to help me shift the blame or anything. And then like if you don't get paid, then that's it. You don't get paid. So that's another thing I think. And then another cons of freelancing will be somewhat your networking skill, like your collaboration skills with fellow programmer is weakened. So like I'm not talking about collaboration skills with customer. Actually, you do improve that. You collaborate better with your customer because they are people who you work with. But when it comes to collaboration skill with fellow programmer or fellow developer, then I think it's weaker. So like you just one tends to like mess up the code because like it's okay because I'm the one coding it, so like it's okay. I will take my own mess. Like if I screw up, then I screw up. I will take the blame. But at least for normal work, someone will work with you, and then like it's give and take. So I think these are the cons. Like apart from the income. But sometimes also like there's one thing, right? Sometimes you get a lot of jobs, so you get a lot of income suddenly. So let's say like on average you make 60,000 ringgit a year, but you won't get 5K every month. Usually you will get maybe like the first 6 months you get, let's say like 50K. Then suddenly you feel very rich. So like like who knows, if you don't do good financial planning, then you tend to spend all of it. Then to realize that you only got 10K to spend for the next 6 months, like for example. So like like Louis say, like you must have good balance, like save for the rainy days, things like that, because like freelancing gives you a lot of flexibility, but one must use the flexibility wisely. It's like sword. So like back to you guys.
So another one is the cons of freelancing that I think is you are a COE. Basically, you are chief of everything, right? So you need to deal with customer, the business side. You need to learn how to deal with that, how to draft, how to basically design the product, and also create proposal. So everything you need to do it. No one do it for you. So from start to end, you basically need to do everything. You need to involve in every stage, including involve in testing, giving back to the finalized product to the customer, and then the customer pivot feedback, then you change again. So you are the project manager, and you are everything, right? So you are the company, everything you need to take out. So freelancing, I think that's the cons when you are dealing with projects, because you are responsible for your own work and everything, right? You need to rely on yourself, so you need to pick up a lot of skill sets along the way. It sometimes is overwhelming, right? Compared to a full-time job, you are specifically tasked to a certain job inside the company, so everyone have their own role. And the freelancing world, you basically take care anything that comes to your way. Either you work in a team of freelancers, you still need to time your own tasks, right? You need to manage your time. You need to articulate your work. Right, so all this can be tedious. Not everyone have the have the strong heart for this, right? Next one is, what are the good experience during your freelancing journey, Louis?
Comeback for me is like my first job, because I'm still studying, and also the first freelancing job is paying me like pretty good pay. Then like ChanKit mentioned just now, well, I feel like pretty rich. This is my own experience. Like for me, it's like, maybe I can do like a freelancer for my current. Yeah. And also another hand is like when you deliver the product, you feel like you proud for your product, because you solve the problem, you think everything and provide solution for that. Like Grace mentioned just now, you like handling everything, and you will feel proud for you myself. Something. Yeah.
ChanKit, any good experience?
Pretty much like I think I mentioned it, and Louis also like repeated it. So another good experience is like when the customer is happy, right? You get direct thanks from them. So like not something you can get directly from, let's say like if I work in Intel, like very seldom I will have one customer like really like send an email to me directly, like thanking me for the specific. No, probably no. Like I'm not that high up in Intel, so like it's not something I can get in Intel, right? So like and they really pay you directly to your bank account, right? Like it's like when you work in the MNC or whatever, no matter how well you have done, right? You also get paid the same. Okay, you might get promoted next year, but yeah, next year. So like not next day. Okay, so like like the reward is immediate, but again the punishment is also immediate. So like double-edged sword there. Yeah, but yeah, the most satisfying thing is, I think I don't know. I think one experience I recall is like one freelancing job, but I wasn't alone. Like my friend referred me. So like so my friend is sort of the project manager. So he's not involved with coding, but he's the one negotiating with customer. Then there was one time, I think the customer just like invited him. Not me. I was away, like, but I was with chatting with them, right? So like he basically like just sat with my friend, like, so he said like, yeah, if you don't get this sorted out, we won't get out from this restaurant or kopitiam or whatever. So like basically, so he's sort of like holding my friend's hostage there. So like I'm like, yeah, must fulfill all of his requirements, otherwise I cannot, otherwise he'll be in coffee shop for forever. So like yeah, and I think it took me for 3 to 4 hours, but I think we finally I managed to save him from the kopitiam. So like that was a pretty good experience. But yeah, that one also considered freelancing for me. Although like I wasn't really involved, like with the customer. Like that one was slightly different. Yeah, I was sort of like like lead developer, but I wasn't the like usually freelancing you also deal with the customer, but no, like for me, that particular project I don't deal directly with customer, but but that was, I don't know, that was kind of a weird experience, but it's a good one, like especially when it's not me who is stuck with the coffee shop. So like but I do feel the tension.
So
Thank you guys.
for me, good experience, I would say explore different industry verticals. So as a tech, if you do work on tech, it's most likely you are dealing with technical stuff, right? So if you do freelancing, you're able to branch to different industry area like e-commerce, fashion, or legal. So for my past experience, I understand how lawyers think, and also get into certain collaboration with them. So that's very interesting experience, so that in the future it will add into your self-value, right? So in the future you can talk about, oh, you involved in this before in your resume. So it's very valuable if you can able to get into different industry while you are in freelancing. So that's one of the good experience that I will see. So next one is any bad experience during a freelancing journey, like any experience like getting not paid or anything. Start with Louis.
So far, I feel like because sometimes the customer is stubborn, they didn't follow the workflow. Maybe like previously they talk about you want to function A, function B, function C, continue this. At the end, you want the function is totally different, and you need to start again, and keep on chasing you, keep you pressure for that, and you need to after you hand over it, but the customer response is no good, and you need to continue without paying to working as a debug or maybe adding new function for them is like pretty bad for me. Yeah.
Okay.
So far, others didn't have much bad experience for them.
Okay. How about ChanKit? Bad experience.
If the experience just not considered bad or good, I'm not sure. But I think we pretty much suffer the same thing basically. The thing about customers, sometimes they don't know what they want. So like I'm also a customer, so I know the customer's point of view. So like sometimes when they get things and then say, actually that's not really what I want, and then the things that they want is the thing is like the expectations are not aligned. So they thought like it's just a minor change, but it's actually a pretty significant change because maybe like it's because of the way we code things and everything. So like minor things can suddenly be very difficult to change. So that's when like the gap comes in. So but in the end I will still do it, like we have no choice, right? Otherwise you cannot close the project. But then we have to drink more coffee. That's all I got to say. That's the thing. But other than that, I was lucky that when I finally completed the project, I do get my payment. So other than that, I don't really have many bad experience. Like I was glad of that. I've heard of people not getting their money, or they just run to some company, just like they just run away, like which is very bad. So I was lucky. To you guys.
So for bad experience, I think what it happens when the time I put into the work is exceeding the value that they pay. So I have a task being referred as basically a data science project, doing I think it's NLP, recognizing text word, whether it's a good and bad, and giving scores, right? So at first the proposal looks doable, feasible, and it's quite straightforward, right? So when you go for a second meeting and the third meeting, the things getting much crazier and the pay is stagnant. So they will still expect pay you the same thing, but they are giving more requirements, more fine requirements, and it's getting harder and harder. So I commit the time I need to commit. It doesn't justify the pay. So it's like 50 ringgit for 1 month of work. So it just doesn't add up. Like if you're willing to spend that budget, but you expect the work to be that much, it doesn't match, right? So in the end, I need to close that task because I split into several phases. Phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Luckily, that's the case, so I don't have to close the whole project. I'm splitting into phases. So I think by phase 2 or phase 3, I basically wrap up without getting paid. I'm saying, okay, I don't want to get paid. I just want to wrap up this phase, and then you might need to find another person that's willing to take that pay to commit that amount of time and expertise. Because in the end, it becomes a machine learning project. It's getting crazier and crazier. Basically, I need to code the modules to score those tags. So it's getting more and more. And then there's a lot of available library like the NLP stuff. But because it's a research project, it doesn't want to have anything to do with the existing library. So you need to custom it. So you need to code the whole custom engine for NLP, which doesn't make sense with that pay. It just no. So I would say that drags me a lot because for me, I pity the customer because it's a very complex project. And, the person is good, just that the pay does not justify the effort that I put in, and in the end, the customer also find very hard to find a replacement because it's just doesn't make sense, right? So that's one of the bad experience where I need to close it, and right, it's been dragging my time a lot for that without pay. So next one is why become freelancer as first job, and would you do it if it start over again? Louis.
For me, I think definitely yes. The freedom is you cannot amazing one. The flexibility. And
So why first job?
because freelancing, like I mentioned before, my experience like before compared to my intern with my first freelancing job, the freelancing job like is more flexible and more challenging. Like you mentioned there, you're solving a problem, and you can learn yourself because nowadays the Google is very powerful, right? Everything you can find at the Google. Don't even need to have a guy to lead you. You can solve the problem yourself. I'm not sure whether the problem, the solution is bad, is good or bad or not. But at least we can solve the problem. And I think this will grow you also. And nowadays the community is like bringing like changing fast. Everything can do online though. So I think the freelancing is pretty workable for first job. Just depend on you have what skill set. For me, it's lucky because the language that I'm familiar is very popular. So the offer is continuously come. So I think this is really lucky for me. But if start over again, I also will choose the freelancing work. So be a freelancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the language that you use? What's the language?
PHP.
Okay, so PHP.
The PHP using the framework Laravel is like pretty become more popular nowadays.
Okay,
Yeah.
so PHP Laravel is good for freelancing. So that's yeah.
For currently,
Yeah,
I think
Yeah, I think
for
I did
currently.
say something about PHP, but never mind. Yeah. Since if I alive, I wouldn't. But it's a good, very good language to get paid. I mean, even the project, I work with, some of them are PHP. So like I can understand why most people code in PHP.
I think you can't run away from JavaScript also, right?
Yeah.
JavaScript.
Also, it's one of the language you must do familiar before you start your freelancing. Because I also work as a web developer, so the server side language I choose, I am using a PHP, and for the client side I'm using a JavaScript.
Cool stuff. How about ChanKit? Like, would you do freelancer if start over again? As for job.
First of all, my first job is not really a freelancer. So like, but again, if I do get good network and good offers from customers, then why not, right? I mean, it's very good as how do I say? Like the if the pay is good, then you have freedom to manage your time. You save money on commuting, and that you can work from anywhere. It's like you work from home before it was cool, right? So like, who wouldn't want that, right? So like, yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. For me, if start over again, will I do freelancing? Probably not. I think I take calculated risk. I would say I would join a company, probably a startup, if I want to pick up new stuff, shiny new stuff, and more opportunity. I would prefer a mentor or people that already work on certain project to guide me, so that that's for me. To learn from established company or startups, because they already went through the hoop and loop, and from that development process you will learn more to apply in your future. So after a few years in a full-time job, maybe you can come out as freelancer as you gain more insight on how to manage projects, some skill sets to do programming and also server-side stuff, right? That's for me. So next question will be, what tools that you recommend for fellow freelancer? Any tools, Louis?
I didn't say any tool is recommended for freelancing. I just can say you can go with the comfortable one and the popular
You
one.
use Vim, right? No, just okay. No, I'm just joking. Yeah.
Just up to you. For starting, maybe the WordPress is the easy one to get over. The WordPress, but at the end also it's a PHP lah. Yeah.
Okay. Any tools like maybe how to manage your time? Any product that you use to manage your time, manage your budget, design?
For me,
tools you use?
For me, I'm using the Trello to manage my project. I separate the tasks, the progress, the tracking of the progress, and for others for design, I'm using a Photoshop and the Figma. The Figma is a pretty good job. You can directly share your prototype to your customer, and the customer can directly comment at the prototype. So you can amend it online. So I think it's a pretty good tool. You can, and also one of it is free. So I think it's a good choice for you to start your freelancing career with these two. Yeah.
Cool. How about ChanKit? Any
tool? I don't really have a good tool of like project management. This kind of thing. I don't really have a good tool. But for code editor, I know like one can certainly try Visual Studio Code. I think it's free. I think it's even open source if I'm not mistaken. Then you get almost like 99% of like Microsoft Visual Studio, and it works with like I think most of the language that you can think of. Like JavaScript, PHP, even if you code in C or C++, like I seldom hear people take freelancing job in C or C++, but if you do, like then yeah, even Visual Studio Code will work well. And then it's not as resource consuming as it was compared to like Microsoft Visual Studio era. So it's pretty much not bad. So like yeah. But for my work purpose, I really use Vim.
Okay.
In my work, I really use Vim because we can only SSH, so I think I just use Vim. Yeah,
Okay.
but don't use Vim. Yeah, don't use Vim as yeah. You better off with a GUI. I would say. I know that I might offend some of the Vim enthusiasts here, but better not use Vim.
Any free stuff that you use for freelancing? Any free stuff? Anything that you use for free?
For my freelancing, no, not much really. Not really. Like, not really. Yeah. I think Looi might have better recommendations. It's like he really does it full time. Yeah. Yeah.
And I forget about one is for invoicing. The tool is like, I forget about the name. Let me check. If you want to open an invoice, you can use the platform to open an invoice.
Oh.
It's just about.
I would say the platform that I use for freelancing prototype. It's Heroku, because Heroku is free for your hobby project. If you use Ruby or PHP or Python, it runs well, but it's just limited resource for free accounts. So if you want to just get it out for prototype, that's free. Other than that, you can manage your documents and stuff in Google Drive, right? If you have a Gmail account, you can use your Google Drive for all the documents. Next one, it's probably Dropbox or Notion. These two are free. You can use it.
Unlimited storage or what? Like the Dropbox?
Dropbox, no.
Dropbox is allowed 5 gig maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, Google Drive has 15, by the way. Yeah, I think.
Yep. So there's also a lot of free resources online. You need to.
Yeah. The Notion is pretty good.
Yep. Notion is good. AWS has free.
Switching Trello to Notion also. I'm switching from Trello to Notion also. Currently.
Okay. Mailgun. So previously, there's a lot of free emails that you can use. Right now, they restrict. So you can try out Mailgun if you want for email stuff, email services. Let's see, anything free. AWS free tier. You might want to careful with that. Sometimes you go over. Let's see.
Because you don't need to register your credit card, right?
For AWS, you don't.
I think you
need. Oh, okay.
Yeah, always not safe when you give your credit card details. Like, you don't want to get surprised in your credit card the statement.
And for the invoicing, the accounting stuff, like you want to open an invoice for the customer, you can use the Wave, WAVE. The accounting for small business. It's free.
Okay.
Also.
Nice.
Cool. So Wave is good. Let's see. Any freebies? Editor wise, if you do Java or Python, you can use JetBrains. There's PyCharm and also IntelliJ. I used both previously in my job. It's good. The free version is good enough for you to do work, right? Else you just use Vim server side, right?
Seriously.
So for those who want to start learn programming, do pick up Vim. You will use it eventually on your server side. Right? You need to use command line. So do pick it up if you have time.
If
Yeah,
you
very
you
easy to
working
pick
at
up, yeah.
a
Mhm.
if you work as a front end developer, then you might need use the Postman for API to
Yes,
debug the API. To it's also free.
yes, Postman. Yep, that's free. Let's see. Anything else? Anything that you can think of free?
The
Like,
Slack maybe. If you
uh,
form a small agency, you want working with collaborate with other freelancer, then you can use Slack to for community purpose.
mhm. That's
Yeah.
good. Okay,
Slack
Slack.
is a bit more like RRC, right? So like, but yeah, it's better than RRC because like
You can
because
attach
you can
more.
it's web based, yeah.
Mhm. Jira, if you want to do task management, try Jira for free. They allow a few projects. Another one is Pivotal Tracker. Pivotal Tracker, if you want to check out that, it's for agile team. Um, Asana, I did Asana. I'm not sure about the pricing though, but yeah, Jira is good. People, some of the list that you can try. Okay, next question. This will be interesting. So, what is the average pay for your freelancing work? Like,
For me,
uh,
like allow a developer like allow 36K per year. Like stable, you're not gonna be rich by doing a freelancing, but you get the freedom only. Yeah.
okay, that's the average. Okay, like any specific, like you charge by hour. What's the hour rate, or what's the project rate? Because it's not stable, right? But what's the average that you normally will use as a benchmark?
Around few K, few hundred depend on your experience. Like beginning, I just starting like even I have taken some few $100 project also. Just depend on your project experience. After you have enough experience, maybe you can increase your pay. So arrays allow like few K. It can be 5K, 5 to 10K. I think for arrays a project for beginner of freelancing.
Okay. How about ChanKit?
I don't think I get paid. Yeah, last time I do get paid about about 36K a year as well. But the thing is, I only put like part-time effort, so that was pretty good supplementary income, better than Grab, I would say. So uh, yeah, and then you get to write my project on the resume, right? Instead of like, let's say like I cannot put like Grab driver 2016 to 2019. Yeah, not many people will buy that. So like it's a good way, as a resume booster. Yeah, but I think it's not bad. I think, but it depends on project, right? If let's say if your customer is have thicker pockets, then like usually you do get more. But usually the way I stating is like, even before I get started, I ask for payment first. So like you don't rugi, I would say, like you
Like
don't lose out. Yeah,
time deposit.
usually. Yeah, so like it's like usually if you divide into 5 stage, right? So like before stage 1 start, you pay for stage 1 first. Then like before stage 2 start, you pay for stage 2 first. So like if anything happens, let's say like for example for Gui's case, right? At least you don't lose money, because you never know what can happen. So yeah.
But you weren't able to close the phase if they already paid you. You weren't able to close.
Yeah, okay, but I think except for last phase, right? They do know. I say like, but if let's say like if let's say before phase 5 starts, they already pay you all. Then like I don't really have motivation to complete it anymore, right? So like
Yeah,
I think so. What happens is like for the last stage they will pay me half. Then like yeah.
Okay.
So like yeah, this their check and balance. Like yeah. Otherwise, for the last stage, if I already take the money, then like it's okay. Like I run away. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
I think I know some people who take way more than that. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, for a starting pay is not bad, especially as you consider it's only okay. I don't think it's a part time work. I think it's more like maybe I need to work maybe like 4 to 5 hours a day, so it's not exactly a part time work. So like and I do suffer because I need to do my full-time work, and then I need to it's terrible. Like I don't really have time to sleep, so like it's not really a part-time work. It's more like, but it is still more enjoyable than work because like full-time work because for the amount that you are getting paid is really a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
But the income is not stable. Like, once a project ends, then like you don't get anything. Yeah.
Yes. So for average pay, I would say that for the past few projects that I involved in, maybe 8K for 3 months project, part-time. I also work in small 100 ringgit. That one is just starting, right? So I don't know how to estimate the time. That's why it comes to that price with that commitment time.
Or is it the one for the machine learning one? The one that you talked about? Okay.
Yeah.
Few $100, seriously.
100, just 100, 100. That's it.
You must do Grab, man, for that one.
Because because the project is interesting, but
Okay.
it adds up. It's taking too much of my time.
Do you get some LinkedIn point?
No, I wouldn't put that on my resume.
Okay.
But yeah, I worked with that before, maybe for the first stage on the custom stuff. So I learned a lot in terms of NLP because of that project. And I think average pay for the freelance, because previously I also hired freelancer before. I think 6K per milestone. You want, and then you give that amount whether they agree or not, and then they estimate the time, whether they want to accept that. And I also got something like this. You need to pay upfront before they start the job. That's their requirement. But in the end, the last phase, the person took off. We paid them. The person took off. Never finished the project. So yeah, that happens sometimes. If you hire someone remote, they just went missing. In the end, we need to hire one more a more experienced guy to finish up. So average pay for Malaysia, it depends on experience in the end. I would say if you get cheap freelancer, do expect the quality to be on par on the pay. If you get a much more, so so don't always go for the cheaper option if you are hiring freelancer, or if yourself want to start with freelancing, know yourself better on the pricing so that you won't get taken advantage, right? So if they pay you a little, but you still need to complete the task because you already agreed with that pay. You cannot just simply throw away, say, oh, nope, not doing it anymore. You still need to close it. So as a rule of thumb, don't commit yourself to a full project. Split into phases to benefit you and your client. So if anything happens, you can move on to let the client to hire a new team to go in and check. And also you can readjust your budget if you think the requirement is getting more complex, right? Because client will add in stuff that he wants, he or she, you that flexibility to adjust the budget when you see needed, right? Don't commit yourself to a full project if you have no confidence on every details of it, right? So next one question is, what is the usual work you get as freelancer? The usual type of work. So what are the type of work?
Basically, for me, it's like a web application,
Okay.
like maybe full stack or front end or just back end, something like that.
Okay. Any specific industry?
Mostly for freelancing, like you want to do a simply company website, or maybe you want to start a e-commerce with a beginning. Then after I become more experienced, then I will start working as a application staff, like provide a certain service or solution for to solve a problem. Sometimes like most like property and e-commerce, and the F&B for like small media business, like the interior design, and maybe some new startup they want to provide their own product to serve as a service, something like that.
Okay. Cool. How about ChanKit? What's the type of work that
I'm
you get?
mostly right, like yeah. Back then we don't have full stack, or we refer them to the front end and back end. So but yeah, we do write some like, let's say like some application when user can place their bet, and then we do come up with a system that that rewards the user. If they tilt, like they kena already, then they you reward. Like this kind of things.
Right.
Then I also did write some Android app. I think back then Android app are still pretty in demand. I think not sure about now. Yeah. Now I'm not sure people write Android app. I mean, like usually people just circumvent them. Like I know some people who use like React. Like they don't really write like direct app in using like Kotlin or Java. I don't know. Like I don't know. Like what do I know? Yeah, but but my task usually like for freelancer you don't really do, apart from coding, you don't really do any, especially if you work alone. Like you just drink coffee and write code, and
Yeah.
then you eat and then write code again. Like I don't know. Like it can be it can be pretty tricky. So and we always talk about good thing about freelancing is that you can like you can stay at home and then you spend more time with your family, right? That's a theory, but what can happen is that you are at home but you don't spend time with your family, and you just spend whole time like writing code. So like it can be dangerous. So like but usually if you ask for stuff, like just sit here and write code. Not much anything else. And then sometimes we sync with customers, see like if you are doing the right thing or not. Like maybe like maybe I just do a little bit of stuff, then I just show them is it what they want, right? We don't want to write, we don't want to finish the whole phase and then like only to be told by customer that this is not what I want. You just change from phase one to phase the whole phase one, right? You don't want this kind of thing to happen. So like usually I try to write a bit of stuff, show to them, say what you want, then like then we slowly go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the work I usually get for the past few years is first is the interior design. So mostly offline to online records online and allow people to browse their catalog. I also code the MLM business strategy for them because they want it for a commission purpose. That's the tricky part. Like that's a lot of logic they do. You won't think of those kind of strategy how they get commission, like the manager, and then different type of sales have different type of stuff, and anything will change. Sometimes they want to custom, so it will get pretty complex when you deal with commission stuff, um, right? So that's freelancing because they cater to people, but when you code it into a system, you will need to consider all those relationships, right? How the transaction works, how the client type works, and everything. So that will get complex. I think that's so haven't have any experience in doing the CSS, HTML stuff. So almost time. So let's wrap up. So the last one will be what is the advice where people want to go into freelancing as fresh grad or as the people want to switch the job? Like what's the advice that you want to give them? Right. So I can start first, so you can think about that. For freelancing, I would say that if you want to go in, understand what you're good at. If you're good at backend, do backend. If you're good at front end, do front end. If you're good at something that's maybe low level, go for IoT and stuff like that. Or you want to pick up new language, go for the language that do it on front end and back end, or IoT now also JavaScript. So if you want to pick up JavaScript, do pick it up, or find languages that you feel comfortable with. PHP will work fine, Ruby, Python, Java, C++, maybe. You can do WebAssembly. There's a lot of stuff that you can explore. So do understand what is your first skill. The second one, you can pick up new things. So you complement, you do things that you're comfortable with. So you can manage time, manage the work, and then do something that's risky, adventurous, and long-term return. That one will take more time, lesser pay, but it's worth the shot. Do it. If you can find a stable full-time job with a lower pay or something that you think you can freelance part-time, right? So that will help your financial. That's the advice I would say is good if you want to switch to freelancing or start as a fresh grad. Okay, Louis?
For me, it's like you must understand about yourself. What are you good in? Like just now you mentioned, you have a considerable language or any framework you are familiar, then you can start your freelancing career. But also, if you have a full time, you can go with full time, and part time freelancing is a pretty good choice for me for new guys also, because like at least you have a stable income, and then you just need to spend more time to to learn more, to explore more about the freelancing. Yeah. That's all.
ChanKit?
I would say that actually for when you are first time starting in freelancing, right, one thing that one will do always over promise. Let's say because it's your first business, right? So let's say anything also can, like WordPress or whatever lah. Let's say you want to do the whole system, set the whole system in 1 week, no problem and everything. Then as you do it, and then and then then you realize you just made a deal with the devil. So take it slow, don't over promise. Sometimes customer, even customers won't expect you to deliver it that quickly, but sometimes maybe one is overconfident, or you want to impress, then you over promise, and your customer just take it, and then then in the end when things explode, then you have to renegotiate. This is not good. And then about freelancing, always make incremental development, rather than always communicate with your client if that is possible. Sometimes maybe clients don't want to listen to you, but that is another matter. But always try to communicate with them, so they know what's your direction, and then you also know what's their direction. So you wouldn't want to finish phase one and then being told off. So always communicate with customer. And then other than that, I have nothing much to add, because you guys have already mentioned a lot, so I wouldn't want to repeat you guys here.
Okay. So it's almost time for our meetup. So anything else you want to add for our audience, or any question from the audience, you can type it in now. Right. So anything you want to add, Louis or ChanKit, for the audience?
Nothing for me.
Okay. ChanKit, anything else you want to add?
I would like to add, one should try freelance at least once. Then like what's the. It's more exciting. Yeah, freelancing is much more exciting because like you're not working for your boss, right? You're not working for a company, like so like you want them to be more motivated when freelancing. Because you get the money now, right? You don't. It's not that like it's not like you work in company then like no matter how well you have done, you can only get paid that much. Like you need to wait until next year then until you get promoted. So like and nothing beats like the exciting moment when you're motivated, right? Especially like young developers, right? Like especially the one starting in tech. One should be more excited, passionate. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. One should be more passionate about things like yeah, and if one is passionate, one is hardworking. Usually that's the way. Like usually, if one is passionate, one will be more hardworking, and then if one is more hardworking, then one will get better. So like it all comes in, yeah. I think this kind of motivation, not many company like can give you doesn't matter how good their bonus is. Like you can say, oh, some company give very good bonus and everything, but like it's not the same. Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that's what.
So,
yeah.
Okay. So to find what's important for yourself, is it time, flexibility, financial? Find the balance that fits you. If you want freedom, you want new things, explore new stuff. You can balance it out. So for freelancing, it's not that freelancing is not stable. Sometimes you go for contractor. It's also some sort of freelancing, because as a contractor, you are not part of the company benefits. So the company benefits won't cover you. You're just a contractor. So sometimes that's solve your financial stuff. It depends how you balance it out. So if time is important for you, you can do that. If money is important to you, that's another way of doing it. Sometimes people just holiday till the next year. So it depends on people. Like, do you like that lifestyles, or if you have commitment, like house commitment, family commitment, all sorts of that, you need to think about it. If you are young, do go adventurous, accumulate your skills, acquire experience, do things that you will tell your future employer about that, because you don't want to tell them that I just sit in the office, right? You want to tell them impressive thing that you did on freelancing or hobby, right? So do take up freelancing if possible. If you're afraid of the risk, join a team of freelancer. I think there's a lot of small firms in Penang. You can find them in meetups group or online Facebook group. Do try it out if you have the chance. Another meetup next month. We'll be joining with the KL group to save our resource. So our next meetup will be jointly with the KL Ruby Brigade. I didn't see any more questions from online. So I hope everyone enjoy our session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, ChanKit. Thank you, Louis, for spending time with us. Okay,
Yep.
see you
Thanks, man.
next meetup.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.